systems are a go.
Confirming all systems are a go. Launching the podcast.
3, 2, 1.
This is Hello from Mars.
I know it sounds like we're about to take off to space, but I promise you we're just coming down to my basement. My name is Marissa. If you guys have been hanging out with me for the last 15 years in the radio industry, thank you for coming upon this and wanting to join me on this adventure. This has been such a crazy, weird, unpredictable, unexpected. What's another word to describe 2020? I mean, think of it. Insert here. If you're somebody that just kind of happened upon this, thank you for wanting to. I don't know. Did this color maybe? Is it the color of the wall that made this intriguing? I don't know. Unless you're just listening, then you're like, what the heck is she talking about with the wall? You can watch this, by the way, on YouTube. Anyway, so this is the Hello from Mars podcast. I've got a lot of plans. We're going to see what I can actually make happen because, again, pandemic. Also, there's a lot of technology that I should know, but maybe don't because I've been unemployed for so freaking long. If you don't know me, you wouldn't know that, but I'm just letting you in. This is how we're going to start this, okay? Honesty. First and foremost. But yeah, lots of technology that I probably should know, but I don't because I haven't been working and I want to learn. So there's that. So I'm going to try. But yeah, we'll see what we can make happen. I mean, this is something that, I kind of wanted to build because I want to keep doing what I love. But it's not just for me. I want this to be for all of us because we all need an outlet, a place that we can kind of go and just laugh or just feel like we're all hanging out or whatever. So each and every week, my plan is to just throw some pop culture out at you, some lifestyle stuff. I'm definitely going to be having guests on. In fact, the first one will be in here in just a few minutes, and I'll introduce him and all that in just a second. But yeah, I mean, this is something, like I said, this is what I wanted to do to keep going with what I've been doing for so long. But the radio industry, let's be just serious for a second, okay? It's imploding. It's been getting in its own way for, I don't know, since I started in this industry. But the pandemic really just sped up the process. So I want to make this so I can keep doing what I love, but making you guys a part of it. And when I say that, I truly mean it. I want you guys to be guests on here. I want you to be able to participate in topics. So I'll be posting on social media, whether you want to just comment on posts or send me direct messages with voice memos so I can go ahead and use them on the podcast. There's going to be a lot of ways that we can be interactive and make this ours rather than just mine. And I hope that you will go ahead and participate with me. If you haven't followed on socials yet, Facebook, Instagram, search Hello from Mars or Hello from Mars podcast. We're also going to be on YouTube, definitely SoundCloud, and wherever you can find podcasts. So welcome to it, guys. This is where we start. So let's just get right to it, all right? This is it.
Tops in Pop.
That sound right there. There you go. Tops and pops. So basically, this is where I'm going to break down some of the big headlines in pop culture that have been going on in the last week. The Grammy Awards were just announced, the nominations. And I mean, I guess the diversity is there. They're saying it's getting better, but there are some people that are still upset. But I don't think you can ever please everybody. You definitely can't please The Weeknd, it seems, right now. Here's the thing. This is what I've always been told, is if you're doing something because you love it, do it because you love it, not because you expect to get paid for it, not because you expect to get the accolades for it or the awards or, even a pat on the back. But, I guess he was expecting all the nominations, and maybe rightfully so. He was shut out, by the way. Maybe rightfully so. He did have the biggest selling album of the year. So that does make sense. He just won a bunch of VMAs and AMAs. So why not a Grammy? Because you didn't get nominated. That's how it's worked this time around. Justin Bieber was also nominated, but he was nominated in the pop category. So he was a little wait, but I released an R&B album. Just be happy. Because I'm pretty sure that The Weeknd would have taken that, and just ran with it. But Beyonce has 9 nominations. Taylor Swift has 6, and is probably expected to win Album of the Year for her release Folklore, which if you haven't listened to it yet, which, I mean, there might be like, I don't know, 3 people in the whole world that haven't. It's very storytelling. It's very like mellow compared to a lot of the pop-driven stuff that she's released in the last few years, but it's really good. So you can check that out again, called Folklore. And Dua Lipa has 6 nominations. Also in the news, and this, I kind of wish he would just go and like take care of himself. But Aaron Carter really, really, really loves being in the public eye in like any way, shape, or form. Doesn't matter if he's making a fool out of himself. Doesn't matter if his junk is just like full on display. He just wants you to know his name. And you know what? We know it. And I guess it's working. But Aaron Carter has just signed a celebrity boxing deal. I guess, I mean, this is the one time that maybe I would like to see what happens next. Is he going to get the crap kicked out of him? He wants to only fight boy band type people, though. I don't know. I'm thinking that he wants his brother in the ring, Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. That's probably not going to happen. Nick has moved on. But I guess the ultimate person that he wants to fight, rumor has it, is Justin Bieber. And if he's going to fight anybody that's like equal to him, except someone way more successful, then it would be Justin Bieber. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. He wants to have fights in April and May, and those are going to be in Los Angeles. Will we ever get to see him? Will they ever happen? We're just going to have to wait and see. So that is your Tops in Pop for this week. And coming up, I am going to be bringing in a special guest. He is one of my best friends. You know him as Billy the Kid, maybe. You might know him as Beetle Bill when he won a contest to do the night show on one of the radio stations that we used to work at together. And that's how I met him. But it is Bill Monthie. We are going to be talking about the Free Britney campaign and what has been happening with that. If you don't know and you're not familiar with it, it's cool. We're going to break it down coming up right now.
I just like looking at myself in this lighting. I just feel like I have the face of an angel now. I need to get one of these for like my bathroom mirror so that every time I step out of the shower I can go, actually, you don't look like a piece of garbage because you've got a ring light.
You know, if you go to Five Below, which you're there all the time, they have like the LED lights that you can put around things.
I was just planning on going to Five Below after this, so now I know what to put on my list, and it's a good thing I brought my handy-dandy, it's a good thing I brought my handy-dandy, notebook.
So, Billiam, welcome to the podcast studio.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
I love the sound quality.
Are you just saying that because it's an adult fort?
No, when we walked in, and like we started speaking, I could hear the difference between what it sounds like in here and out there, and then you were like, and it sounds really good. And in my head, I was like, yes,
it does sound really good.
I was just thinking that, but I didn't want it to. Like, I didn't want to be patronizing, and be like, oh yeah, it does sound so good. But I was thinking that.
Well, I'm glad. So that just means that this is going to sound professional, and that was the quality of the product that I was going for. So yay! And
to top it all off, I have made sure that I won't be hacking my head off by drinking a glass of water in between sentences.
Thank you. Oh, each sentence, huh? Oh, this is going to be very entertaining. This is going to be a great first episode. But I figured, like, I just know that, especially around Christmas time, which we're getting close to, what is your favorite Christmas song, Bill?
Oh, you have touched my heart. And I got stories about this song, which I'll tell you later. But it is my only wish this year. Which one's... I think that this year is in parentheses.
Maybe.
At the end. And actually, the first time we were ever on air together, we were talking about, you did a quiz, and I had to name songs, and I was like, last Friday night, parentheses, TGIF, and you were like, you even got the parentheses in there. Yeah. That's just a brief little side note. Don't let me do this too much. This is a podcast. But yeah, no, the Britney Spears Christmas song is top of the list. Like, it edges out Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You, by just a smidge.
And Mariah's the Christmas queen,
exactly.
So, I mean, that says a lot. So I knew that this would be a good topic to have you in for.
Yes.
Because Free Britney Christmas, Free Britney, however you want to go ahead and think about this.
We want her to have her holly jolly freedom, for God's sake.
For crying out loud. So I wanted to go right back from the beginning. Because I feel like just for those who maybe don't know exactly what all of this has been for Britney, it's been a lot from like starting way back. Like I was like finding some dirt where apparently she started having anxiety issues from childhood, but it really started coming out in the 2000s for the Oops, I Did It Again tour. So she's been struggling with that kind of stuff for a very long time. That just sort of spiraled into the psychiatric holds that happened in 2007 and 2008, and then that just kicked off this entire conservatorship. Mm-hmm. So when I'm looking back and I'm seeing all the stuff that did happen, as somebody that is also a life coach, I'm also seeing things like being super young in the spotlight, causing a lot of stress, causing a lot of like no free time, any of that. Then she has the very public breakup with Justin. All of these stressors are what can trigger different mental illnesses in that kind of like adolescent age.
Right.
That's when a lot of these things can kind of like come to fruition. So like a lot of mental illnesses will start to grow at like the age of 14 is what I was looking at. And then really, really come out by the age of 24, depending on circumstances. So for Britney, everything was really, really heightened. And then we had all the stuff that went down. So I know you have a lot of feelings when it comes to her dad.
I mean, I don't know the whole story. This is part of the thing that I don't know how true it is. I remember back in like 2008, right? Like let's say December 2008. Wasn't that right around when the conservatorship started?
It
was right around that.
Let me see.
Period.
Dad conservatorship. It was like February 2008.
Okay,
so it was like
it was
beginning,
earlier than that. But I remember in like the Womanizer days when that was a single, and this was kind of like making headlines that she was in this conservatorship. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, this makes sense, right? You know, we see Britney, she shaved her head. She kind of went off the deep end a little bit. Maybe it's a good idea to have somebody responsible and level-headed be in charge of her finances. But then you look at how valuable Britney Spears is, how much she's making. And you also, on the flip side, which I wasn't considering at the time, you got to think that there's an angle of, look how much money she's making. I want to be in charge of that, especially if you're a no-talent hack like her dad.
Well, here's and I agree with you, because at first, when you're looking at all of everything, it does look like this needs to be in place. Like, right. She's not well. It's kind of like the Nexium cult that we're all familiar with around here, where it seems like it started with the right ideas. It started out as something that was really trying to do good, and then spewed off into this money-making, like branding, whatever. Britney has not been branded that I know of. But I'll tell you this. Ready? So we started off where it's all the normal stuff, like, making sure she's taken care of and that she's safe. Then February of 2014, all of a sudden, Dad's having a yearly payday of $426,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
This goes back to like any celebrity who ends up having a child and like somebody has to pay somebody else child support, and it's like some ridiculous amount of money.
Right, yeah, because of their standard of living that they've gotten used to.
Nobody needs that much money a year.
I need to have my $60 coffee every day.
Can coffee cost that?
I would
probably.
I just remember watching The Fabulous Life of Britney Spears on like VH1 in like 2003, and it would be like, and every day she sends a plane to get $3 million worth of bazillion coffee. Don't you wish you could live like Britney Spears? And I was like, yes, I do. I don't anymore. No, but I did back then.
So that was in 2014, and almost like immediately following that, it seems like 16, 17, 18, even 19, all of the annual conservator hearings have been canceled.
Okay,
so
that's fishy.
Yeah, and they like went and trademarked Britney Spears in 18. So it's like it turned into, I feel like, a money-making thing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to control all of her assets.
Well, isn't there aren't there aspects of this where like she can't like make a phone call or use the internet without checking in with her dad first? That's the stuff that really like, it makes me wonder, if this did start out as a legitimate thing, and then he was like, "Ooh, look how much control I have, look how much money I'm making," because power is just as much of a motivator as money in a lot of instances, sometimes even more so, and often it's like that money begets power. So if you realize that you have so much control over somebody else and everything that they're doing, and that like makes you feel big and powerful, maybe that is equally as much of a problem as her, like the fact that her dad wants the money. He's just like, aha, dance puppet kind of thing. I don't know.
It was weird to me that at one point, it was okay for her to suddenly start working again. Like, there was a time period where they didn't think that it was okay, and then all of a sudden it was okay. And it was around actually the time, I think, like where...
Is this the Vegas residency period? Back in 2013, 14?
It was around the same time Dad started getting that big payday.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying, is like it all of a sudden turned into like, well, yeah, dance puppet.
Yeah.
And literally that's what she was doing. And that's all she's been doing on Instagram is just dance puppet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because she does those like fashion shows and stuff like that. And you look at that and you go, well, this is kind of kooky and weird. That's Britney Spears, haha, but... when you think about it from the other side, it's sad. It's like, 'cause some people have been like, well, this is what she does because this is all she's allowed to do.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is like when you go back and you're looking at things, it seemed like for a while she had a little bit more freedom. And then it's been like more and more has been taken away. So, limited phone use. And like her dad testified that as of like back in 2009. And then it's just been, alienation and potential like, a drugging of her and stuff, which would make complete sense watching the stuff that gets posted on social media. Like that's why I've always been kind of the person that's like, well, maybe she does need the conservatorship. Like all these people are free Britney and like, she needs to be on her own. And I get it to an extent, but if she is like, if this is her and she's not all drugged up on stuff that she doesn't need to be on, then that's one thing.
Right. Don't even get me started on the prescription drugging. But I mean, when you look at the individual pieces and you say, okay, well that's a weird thing that she's done. Maybe she needs the conservatorship, or that's a weird thing that she's done. But when you take all of them and add them up together and you go, okay, something's not right about this entire picture. And that's where it's like, okay, yeah, free Britney, she needs to be able to do more than fashion shows. Okay, or free Britney, she needs to be able to do more than just a Vegas residency. Like, okay, but like start adding them up. I'll put them all together. She needs to be able to do more than this. Like every aspect of her life seems controlled right now. And that's the point where you got to be like, okay, maybe we actually should free Britney. But because all of these hearings have been canceled, what exactly are you supposed to do about this?
Well, she just was trying to be in court, getting this all kind of situated again. She doesn't want her dad to have any kind of control at all. But the judge keeps ruling against her. So there's some part of this that has to have legitimacy. Because I don't feel like the court is going to just side with dad just to side with dad all the time.
Right.
So there has to be some sort of findings that they're able to use as proof that she's not well, like medical records,
some sort
whatever.
Of legitimate medical basis, yeah.
But she did say, one of the most recent TMZ articles from the last couple months was like, she's in support of the Free Britney campaign, and she wants the court cases and stuff to be public so everybody can be a part of it and like actually witness what's happening.
Right.
However, I also feel like if she's legit not well, she is going to want the Free Britney campaign, and she is going to want people like, I don't know, like, because she's going to think she's right no matter what.
Yes.
So I don't know. There's like, it's a weird teeter-totter to be on.
I'm of the opinion that if you don't have anything to hide, then let it be transparent.
Yes.
Don't keep people from seeing what's going on if there is nothing to hide. And I think that's a point against the dad. I think that's a major point against the dad. I think that's, I can't say like legal grounds for like investigation necessarily, but like common sense grounds. If somebody is trying to hide something, then you want to look into it and be like, okay, well, what else is going on under the surface here? That just makes sense to me. And, if it's entirely legitimate, then let everyone see it and say she does need a conservatorship, she's not well, and there are actually very good reasons for this. And then, is that going to shut up the super hardcore Free Britney stans? No. But it will at least calm down people like me and maybe you who are like, okay, well, this started off legitimate, but I'm not sure if it still is legitimate. Then you go, okay, well, it is. Then fine. And that kind of turns the public eye away from you, which is what I feel like you'd want if you want to maintain the conservatorship.
Right. I think, too, for her and this whole situation, there ends up being, because we don't have all the facts, because there ends up being a lot of speculation, there's so many different conspiracy theories. Have you checked out the Instagram comment section for Britney?
I have a while ago, briefly. Comments, boy, that is a jungle, going into comments on any...
It is
on any site,
on any celebrity site, but on Britney, like, it's very evident that she does not have access to those comments because then she's fed stuff like these random question and answer things that pop up every once in a while, these videos that she does, and she's like, I know that people have been asking certain questions, and then it's like in the comments you see her go, people will just be like, sis, nobody asked any of these questions. We are all asking if you're okay, and that's the one question you're not answering. But like, it's just bananas. Like, people are thinking there's a doppelganger. Other people have made comments that I'm not even sure if they're just joking or not, but like it's a Britney robot, which I'm sorry, in some cases she does seem very robotic.
Definitely. I agree with that.
And I think there was like most recently a video that she posted. She finally addressed the fact that she's okay and whatever. And then people were speculating eye movement, and that when you're thinking about something, you look up to the right or whatever, but she was looking off to the side, which meant somebody was there.
Okay,
and
so
like,
she's getting cues. From
yeah,
somebody.
like she was getting cues from somebody or whatever.
I am here for that. I am all about conspiracy theories.
There are so many, dude.
I want to believe. Let me tell you,
it's insane. It's insane, and it just keeps getting worse. And I feel like it's not going to get better anytime soon. And she's now saying that she won't do any kind of work until her dad is no longer in charge of things.
Hey, you know what? That sounds like that may be the closest thing to a solution that anybody has offered up. Because, I mean, they can't force her to work, can they? That would be called slavery, I would assume.
I feel like she's been a slave anyway.
Well, yeah, I guess contractually you could force somebody to work. And it seems like she's
honestly,
gotten a raw deal
now
on a
I'm
lot of
thinking,
contracts.
wait a minute. Are all of her songs coming true?
Oh, shoot.
Because
she's so
she sang
lucky.
about Lucky, right?
She's a star.
I'm a slave for you.
Oh, no.
She burnt down her gym like twice. Oops, I did it again. Like,
is Britney Spears a great prophet?
I don't know. Like, is she
going to herald the end of the universe, and maybe her father is doing a good thing for humanity by containing that? The prophecy, are we dealing with a secret cult that is preventing the end of the world? And he's actually sort of falling on his sword, so to speak. He is making himself look like the villain in order to contain the true evil that has been born by way of Britney and her songs. If she were to be unleashed, if she were to be undrugged and unconservated, she would record the song that rent the earth in two. I think I have just switched teams. Now I am Jail Britney.
Jail Britney?
I like living.
So you think that if Britney wasn't in a conservatorship, that we would this is the end of the world?
Apocalypse.
We are already living.
Jail Britney.
We're living in the apocalypse. We're in the middle of a pandemic.
It could be worse. It can always be worse. It can always be worse.
I feel like I just unleashed something here.
You've awakened something in me, and now I'm going to go join the fight. I'm going to go get boots on the ground, my boots, and I'm going to go keep Britney locked up forever. That's really mean.
Wow! In the first episode of Hello from Mars, I'm going to have hate mail, and it's all going to be directed towards Bill.
Then I'm doing my job.
Oh, great! What do you think is going to happen for Britney? Because here we are, we're getting to the end of 2020, and you know, just when you think maybe the Free Britney campaign is doing some good and actually getting this to a point where maybe she's going to have a little bit more authority over her life, and maybe her sister's going to be overseeing things, and, you know, maybe mom's going to be getting involved. What do you see now that the judge has kind of made everything stay in place? Do you see this changing anytime soon?
Nope. No change. She's screwed. The bad guys always win. It's really hard to take out corruption and to deal with when people have a stranglehold like this. It's you have to prove that they do. That's extremely difficult. So in all honesty, I don't foresee anything changing, and it's very sad to me. I wish it would. Like, jokes aside, jokes about jail Britney aside, that was a joke. Yeah, I'm not hopeful on those grounds, I guess. It's a hashtag, like a social media campaign, can only go so far. It's sort of like, it's like raising awareness of something doesn't actually solve the problem. It's like,
real change needs to solve the problems.
It's like breast cancer awareness. Like, we're all aware of breast cancer. It's a bad thing. It's a terrible thing. Cancer is a terrible thing. But like, knowing about it doesn't stop it from happening. Maybe that's an insensitive analogy to make, but it's like, cancer is like one of the most evil things I can think of. It's not. I'm losing myself. I'm going off in the weeds. The trail.
No, I know what you mean, though.
Left of the tracks.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah. You need a scientific breakthrough to beat cancer. You need a legal
like legit
breakthrough.
change.
Yes, you need something actually
something
has
concrete.
to happen.
Yeah. So like there's got to be some sort of evidence that comes forward, some sort of proof, some judge that finally sees the light, and hopefully that can happen as long as she doesn't have more cases canceled or, whatever on her. It's very sad to witness because she had everything. She was lucky.
I just thought of something else is that, with all this money that the dad is making off of her, it's entirely possible that he is like buying off the judges.
Yeah.
Like, we can't rule that option out either. Bribes are a real thing. Like, that happens. People are bought and paid for, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason why these things keep being canceled, is because they're getting money. You expect judges to be honorable people, but people are people. They're all human. Everybody has their weaknesses. Everybody has their flaws and does bad things. And that would not shock me in the least if he was sliding money under the table to make sure that he gets his pockets lined, they get their pockets lined, and Britney is the one who suffers as a result. Dang it! This sucks!
Wow. So I feel like that's how I got you here, too. I bribed you with pizza. So, yeah, every week you can expect a little bit of something like that. And also some bonus content. So if you head over to our social medias, Hello From Mars podcast, either on Facebook or Instagram, you're going to go ahead and see some extra stuff with Bill right now. We kind of walked through some of our radio history together, and he gets real, as you saw, he gets real into what he's talking about. So it's entertaining, to say the least. And since we were just talking about the Free Britney campaign, a big happy birthday shout out to the one, the only, the princess of pop, Britney Spears. I do love her so, and I just wish that she was one, getting the help she needs, two, living in the right environment and having some freedom, and just three, living her best life, which in some cases I feel like she might be. In other cases, I feel like I just don't know. And obviously we just talked about that. But it looked like she did take a trip to Hawaii for her birthday. So hopefully she had a fantastic time. And as we continue with each podcast, this section will kind of always be different-ish. This is where I would love to be talking about different topics that you guys bring up or that I've had going on. I would also love to have the opportunity to give you something a little uplifting, maybe a positive story that I found, or little tips on how you can better manage anxiety or stress or whatever might be going on in the world. It's been crazy this year. Mental health has been really struggling for everybody. And for those who don't know, I am a life coach. I started at my own company like a year ago, and I've been helping people throughout the year, but I've been helping people like my entire life. It's just that I'm a little bit more educated in it now. And I've got a lot of life experience to back me up, which, unfortunately, but I guess fortunately for other people. And I've figured out my own balance, and how to just make life a little bit easier for myself. I get out of my own way now. Like I used to be in my own way all the freaking time. So I want to leave you today with just a little bit that maybe you can walk away with that is going to help you, way after you press stop, So if you can't control what's bothering you, you got to let it not bother you. I know that sounds confusing. So when you look at your day, you know, like there's a lot of stuff that we're not in control of. I mean, like 90% of stuff we're not really in control of, but like you can control what time you wake up most of the time, right? You can control what you're going to have for lunch if you go and you pack it. You control your routine. You know, you can make a schedule for yourself. You can go ahead and say no to things if you know that they're going to stress you out. But if something has happened during your day that is just like completely out of your hands, you gotta just do whatever you can to help the situation, but then like shake it off and like take that negative energy and put it towards something positive, something that you enjoy. So that way you're kind of reinforcing that energy and flipping the switch on it, you know? So like say something really crappy happens, but you don't want to keep in that mode. Nobody really wants to, right? Nobody wants to stay upset. And you have the opportunity to go out and take a walk in nature and just like clear your mind, do it. Maybe put on some of your favorite music. Just like take 30 minutes and like blast your favorite song on repeat and belt it out. Get on a treadmill and just run. Like do whatever you have to do to get that negative energy out and then keep moving forward. That is something that it is a learned and acquired taste or trait, if you will. But it's something that I have definitely been doing throughout this entire pandemic because, I mean, I'm somebody who has been unemployed since last fall, who was about to get a job in March, then COVID hit, so it fell through. I was sleeping on a futon in my childhood bedroom, not knowing what the next day was going to bring and if I should be living in Boston or upstate New York, or am I still moving to Hartford? Like it was like a crazy few months, but I just kept putting one foot in front of the other and trying my damnedest to not let anything that I wasn't in control of, which was the entire year, not bother me. Just go ahead. Keep my mind focused on other things, do what I can to help keep moving myself in the right direction. And I've had my moments, but not as many as I could have. So if you can't control it, don't let it control you. We are going to have plenty of more fun coming, guys, from Hello from Mars. I hope you will join me. Please subscribe. Please make sure you're following on socials. And please participate because this is not just about me. This is always about us. And I will talk to you next week. Oh, hey!